YouTube, so this is our follow-up video on how to skin a snake. So I'm going to show you how to tan this. We have this nice rat snake here, so let's get started. What I need for this project is a knife, some glycerin, 70% isopropyl rubbing alcohol, a jar that you can put your skin in while it's tanning, and obviously a snakeskin. And you might need a knife sharpener, depends on how sharp your knife is, and then just some paper towels. You're going to get your knife and you're just going to want to start scraping away at all this fat on the edges that usually is hard to get off whenever you're skinning it, because if you have this on here, it's just going to start to rot on you and it'll get all nasty. So just start to scrape away all of this until it's done. If there's a little bit, it's fine. It's hard not to get it all, but try to get it for the most part. Now that we've gotten as much of that extra fat off as we can, we're just going to get our snake skin. This is nice rat snake, and we are going to get the chemicals out. These are the two chemicals I showed earlier, glycerin and rubbing alcohol. We're going to mix these 50-50 and put them in this jar, and then put the snake skin in there for 2 to 3 days. So let's get that started. Putting in our rubbing alcohol. And we're just going to fill this up about halfway. Put in some of this glycerin, or all of it. And so it should be about 50-50 of glycerin to alcohol. I'm going to put in a little bit more alcohol, make it even. There we go. So now we can just stir this up. I don't really have anything, but I got a knife, so that'll work. And just get that all stirred up. Okay, so we have our mixture in, and we have just an old peanut butter jar that we put it in. Obviously, we cleaned it out first, but that'll work. And so we're just going to put in our snake skin. And you're going to want to make sure it's fully submerged, and like once a day maybe, you just come by, turn it, stir it, do whatever you want. Just make sure it's all mixed up and that it's getting covered. And then you can just put on your lid. And then we're just going to let that sit for 2 to 3 days. And that's it for now. Okay, so I'm back. It's been about 72 hours now, or 3 days. And our skin has been in here. I've turned it about once a day. So let's check it out. Here it is. It's definitely not done yet. You can see it's all curled up. But that's why we have this. So don't think we're going to be like using the marker to like color on the skin or anything. We're going to have the tape, and we're going to tape on the cap. And then we're going to have the paper towel, and we're going to roll it up with the paper towel so it stretches well, and we get it dried out easily. So let's get to it. So now we have this all bundled up in the paper towel. Basically what I had is I had like the skin laid like this across it, and I put it around the marker and I rolled it up. So the skin was never touching itself again. It was being wrapped again and again in the paper towel. And then I just put some rubber bands around it. And now we're just going to let this sit for about 24 hours. If it's a bigger snake, and it might take a little longer to dry then, you might let it sit for like 2 days. But let's just come back once it's done. Okay, so let's check it out. It's been drying overnight, and it's been almost a day, but it should be fine. Just take off these rubber bands. Okay. There it is. Okay, so what you can do now is, just, if you have like a tad bit more glycerin, what you want to do is you just coat it in it, and every like year or so, you're going to want to coat it just to make sure it's healthy, and I'll show you how to do that. So here are some of our previous skins. This nice rattlesnake. You can see this one turned out pretty well. And then the rattle, it always stays fine usually. And we also have a little tiny garter snake. And let's see how he looks. Looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glycerin on all these skins and on this one too. I'll get the little thing. You have to pop that off first. So now we've got that annoying little thing off. We can just put the glycerin on. And then you're just going to want to rub it in. It's a bit heavy, but you can just move it all the way down the skin and just coat both sides, making sure it's going to be nice and healthy and not going to be dropping scales every day. So I'll come back once it's done. So you're going to want to go the direction of the scales so you're not peeling up on them. I was accidentally doing that for just a second and it kind of peeled up some of the scales, but once it's all dry, none of these will be falling off. You'll have a few, but those are just the bad ones. And then once all those have come off, you're going to be good. Now let's put some on this tiny little garter snake. Okay. Which way do the scales go? This way. And see, it really brings out the color right there compared to like right here. That's why you want to do this every once in a while. And right now this doesn't look too colorful like it did before, but once it's all done, it'll change from like this skin, that bright orange, or from this orange to that brighter orange. You can really see the color change. So let's keep doing that. And then we have this rattlesnake too. Diamondback rattlesnake that I shot and killed one night with my friends. And so let's do that one. But that's about it. So we have this nice skin. While we focus it there. And now it's still all floppy and everything. It hasn't gotten stiff like it usually would. And if you don't tan it, it will get really stiff and crunchy, and it'll eventually just have all the scales come off, and it'll just get nasty. So make sure to tan it if you want to keep the skin. All you need is glycerin and rubbing alcohol. Here's some of our glycerin. Make sure to have some of that extra glycerin for whenever you're coming by and just putting it on all the snake skins. But that's about it. Thanks for watching. So this is our finished product. It's this nice rat snake. Nice and wiggly, I guess. And then these are two of my older ones. Whenever you're like just storing them, you just roll them up kind of loosely. And on a rattlesnake, you should have the rattle hang off. And on another one, just roll it up. It's our little garter snake. So then you can just do the same for this.